what I was thinking about the other day was that everybody is clamoring and going crazy about this guy becoming president when he already got himself sworn in by a New York judge the day after he got the nomination. I mean, he won the president election. So while everybody is clamoring about the public facade that's already there, you got to understand the White House, as we know it, has been being run out of Trump Tower since whatever the date was they elected this guy. But the real funny thing that's at play is the fact that they needed a businessman to come in to help reorganize their present position based upon the bankers being outlawed. Like, people don't know that the guy who funded Black Lives Matter and a lot of these other pseudo wild organizations, George Soros, people like him, there's an arrest warrant for him, what they call an international red notice, out for him, out for Rothschild, out for a lot of these people. And so a lot of the false flag information that has been put out about what's actually happening is actually really just blowback from the same fake people that's been pumping the fake news from really. Yellow journalism really started like in the 1800s when they were creating the little advertisements for things like gator bait and things like that when in Florida, when they were having little black babies and putting them there and using them as bait to get gators to kill them, to make bags and stuff like that. Like, they've been pumping fake news from birth of a nation. Like, they have created a perpetual cycle of news based on propaganda, but not only propaganda, based upon how that propaganda is adequately socialized to every pseudo political organization, every pseudo grassroots local situation. All of these people have been misfed the same lie. So the lie is everything was whack until the Vatican and the church and them came in and killed all the indigenous people and then created this new thing that we call Western civilization. But the underlying subplot of that is that to do that, they had to disavow millennia's worth of information and history of a people that are now waking up to this fact out of this self-imposed amnesia promoted by this man-made thing we call media, which is like the weather. You know what I mean? It's everywhere, but in some places it's raining and in some places it's sunny. You know, they've created this perpetual cycle of disinformation by which anybody that puts information out about anything that's real is automatically targeted to now have to prove or debate or any foregone conclusion that people at one point accepted as reality. Like, at one point it was accepted in reality that the world was flat, right? But during that period, that was the period by which the Moors imposed that type of dogma, draconian dogma, on the so-called European descendants of Rome that had been broken from the fall of Rome to 1492. So prior to that, there was no Rome, there was no Britain, there was no England, none of that existed. None of this stuff that we in right now really existed how we understand it to exist. We exist in it based upon how we were taught it came to be. But how something comes to be is now dealing with evolution. Now we're dealing with education. Now we're dealing with how people have been predisposed based upon their cultural affiliations. So when we talk about people getting together, humanity getting together, when was humanity ever together? When was it ever in a situation where it was harmony and stuff like that? It might have existed like that prior to the flood. You know what I'm saying? The great flood that we could hear about in the so-called Hopi legends, the Anasazi legends, the epics of Gilgamesh, the Bible, things like this. These things are actual things that have happened that have become mythic legend based upon us not being in a position to adequately take the information that's being hoarded and sequestered from the people who could really use it. People of Moorish descent, people who are Muslims, people who are so-called indigenous to the land. But if we was to give it to those people, then that means the people that's acting like them right now got to go. And that's the whole thing. So I had somebody who I was talking about something, and on the comment they listed, oh, well, keep the name of this nation out your mouth, or blah, blah, blah. Like, for you to even come at me like that, for you to even come at me and tell me not to keep it indigenous when I'm one of the few that can actually show and prove the bridge between the Moors and how the Moors and the American Indians and these people were the same people, and how I could show you a picture of somebody 25,000 years ago wearing the same turban and headdress I got on in the Cherokee Nation, in the Powhatan Nation, in the Lenape Nation, in any of these other nations that you so-called $5 round the fort, light-skinned, Native American, we protesting the pipelines thing. Where you at when brothers, when your ancestors, the big buffalo people, the darker skinned ones, that the copper colored races, the olive hued people, where you at when they get shot dead in the street by the same colonialists that's now on your reservation trying to push you out of that? The reason why they doing that is the same reason why they doing that to the brother here in the street, because we both are supposed to be working together to bang on this beast. But they don't want to do that. Everybody want to be their own nation. Everybody want to be their own tribe. I'm running this. It's all me. You know what I mean? Donald Trump ain't think about that. Donald Trump about bottom line, where's the money? Who can we get to pay for it? And what do we have to do to come out of any agreement that's stagnating us financially? For him. So he is the hero of the white nationalists. You understand? He's the hero. He's willing to stand up to Obama and these type of people. You understand? Now, all of these people are inherently corrupt. I'm not bigging Trump up because, again, he's not my president. Obama was never my president. I never claimed him. This is not all of this. We all in the same game. This ain't how this works, man. We have to all be under our own vine and fig tree based upon the edict that was put on our very DNA. Do you realize at one point there was no type A, type B, blood type here in the United States anywhere up until maybe 555 years ago? So that means everybody on this continent, everybody was basically the same family at one point. It wasn't until these other things came through, like colonialization and these things came through to break up the infrastructure to now broaden what they call the human bouquet. So now we have all these other people proclaiming to be things that they not. And then when we now step up to say what exactly we are, they want to create a situation like we can't be that because of some erroneous history where you can show me a dinosaur bone from 5 million years ago, but if I ask you to show me a slave ship from 200 and some odd years ago, you can't show me one. You can't show me one? You know how much many people have made money off of this erroneous lie about who and what we are and how we got here? And I'm talking about melanated people. So again, it's not about who's in the White House, and the White House being run out of Trump Tower right now. So what does that mean? If they can run it out of that, they can run it out of Trump Casino. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we're in the theater. We're in the so-called prophesized war that they have been doing to erupt and create their Antichrist. So even though you don't believe in Hadrian Colliders and Transagothian magic and Crowleyism and all that type of stuff, these people is doing that to the point where they invested $1.2 trillion in speculative research. That's not even coming from it's coming from the so-called American people, but it's not even coming from them. It's all going to police organizations that they don't talk to you about. They talk to you about CIA and FBI because they're not talking to you about DARPA. They're not talking to you about the J Society. They're not talking to you about the other stuff that the people that's really making this money, that's working with these super black hole dwarf star computers that they've been uploading and using to create algorithms based upon your social media profiles. They got, when you talk about clone, people are, it's to the point in the game where they creating tabloid rumors about your boy. Like, they doing all types of stuff that's not even real. Like, people could look at it and say, obviously this is fake, to show you that the algorithm that they've created to usher into this new, what they've been telling you is a world order, is really about you and how you're ordering what's happening, how you're disseminating the information, and how you're coalescing that into a trust that you can express yourself through, that is delineated between you and the artificial circumstance that they've created for you to exist in. You are participating in your own destruction if you continue to identify with words that are transpondently created to bind you to a specific mediums. Words like minority, words like black, words like nigger, and things like that. These things are again psychological programs that have been ingrained into the so-called, when they tell the matrix, but it's really an algorithm. The algorithm that they use to perpetuate whatever the new trend they're gonna impose on niggas, or they're gonna impose on Mexicans. Like right now, if I say, what's the chief export of Colombia? The first thing you're gonna say is cocaine, and that's not true. But why do we think that? Same thing, if I tell you something about Haiti, what do you think about? First thing, poverty and all this other thing. How can that be? Do you realize that the Clinton Foundation, for example, the same Brotherhood of Deaf people that this dude Trump is trying to fight out, and they doing this civil war thing in behind the scenes government, they run Haiti. So if I wanted to give a donation to Haiti of any amount, I gotta contact Hillary Clinton's brother. I gotta contact Hillary Clinton's brother to get permission to do that. Then I gotta write the check in his name. And then he take the check. So Haiti ain't getting no money. Haiti is being held hostage. But do you realize that since the revolution that Bouquet started, let's get real. Bouquet started the revolution in Haiti, and he was a Moor. He was a Muslim. They call him Bouquet because the Quran, they tried to burn him with it, and it burned to his body. And he used to teach people Islam through reading his flesh. He's the one who taught Toussaint and the rest of these people to come up and all that. There's so many Moors that were involved in the American Revolution. That was the culmination of the Maroon Wars, the Seminole Wars, the French Indian Wars, the Gullah Wars, the wars that led to the signing of the Treaty of Hidalgo, the Treaty of Guadalupe. These are treaties that protect us on the land today as imperial, royal Muslims. But we can't access none of that because royalty nowadays is these people on the internet. This whole new Mandingo fighting thing they got popping now, where they got all of the rappers, another distraction. All the rappers now and R&B singers fighting each other now in boxing matches. Like, I want to see that. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all niggas is that tired. Y'all willing to be however they position them on the board to be. These dudes lift up their skirts and they let them do whatever they want to do to them. And these are your leaders. Do you realize that Donald Trump has met with more black entertainers in the black community than any other president, really, including Obama? But why isn't he talking to black intellectuals in the financial sector? How come you're not seeing those meetings? Because those black people don't want to be seen on TV, so they put the puppet people, the face of the boule on there for you. So all these people Freemasonically connected, all of them. And in the very end of it, they all know that the Moors or the Moorish Americans specifically, no matter how broke up or crazy or whatever they want to be, they still hold the dynamic key that unlocks this whole thing based upon their nationality and the fact that they can prove blood just sanguineous ties to those records that they got locked up in the Library of Congress under the what they call Continental section, the Continental Records section. There's thousands of books, all with our history, but it's all in Latin. It's all in French, it's all in Old French, Old Spanish, right? Kufic, Mograban, languages they don't even speak no more. Languages that you ain't never hear no scholars even talk about. So, to encapsulate all of this into a summary, I would just say that in the end, it boils down to, regardless to what they doing, it's already done. The question is, what are you gonna do to order your new world? The question is, when they do put troops on the ground, what flag you gonna fly outside of your house to show that you're not down with the debauchery that they've been doing for the last 241 years? I can show and prove how the United States is an attachment to the United States an attachment to the Moorish Empire. Easy. All you gotta do is just get a certified copy from the Library of Congress of the letter that Washington wrote the last Sultan. So again, when I wrote my letters and put them out, they wrote me back in the present capacity of the office that I say that I represent. Because they know the only people that's fighting against all of this is our own people. So again, man, your people is the people that are unified around the same ideals and creeds that you have. And there's no law that says that we're supposed to put ourselves on the fire while other people bask in the glory of this illusion. You are the one that has to decide where you're going to go with this thing. And you are the one that has to know the apparatuses and the different apparatuses of this game. And as far as the research that I've done, the most consolidated way to do that is to understand yourself in its connection to the ancient and old Al-Maghrib Al-Aqsa, the original Al-Moroccan Empire, the original so-called ancient Egyptian empire that was reestablished over here through King Xananath, who they refer to as Zoroaster, who they also refer to as King Joseph from the Bible, who then established the kingdom of El Armana in what we now call the Grand Canyon, which was dug out to create the temples of Zoroaster, Isis, and Brahma, which then established the ancient, what we call Pueblo cultures of which we can show and prove that they were all protected by the old Moorish Empire and Dominion through the capital at that time, which was Mount Moriah. If you want to find out more information on that, get a book called Time Walker. Get another book called Blacks and Indians by Jack Forbes. Get another book called Golden Trade of the Moors. Also, if you want to holler at me about some of the things that's happening in terms of that, let me know. You can email me at houseofl@hotmail.com. And what else? I think that's it. Peace.